Fellow Zimbabweans, today marks 61 years since our visionary founding fathers took a collective and a defining decision to unite the peoples of Africa and deliver our beloved continent from the shackles of imperialism and resist colonial subjugation. On this important day, we also commemorate and celebrate our African heritage, thanking Almighty God for a beautiful continent that has plenty of resources which are more than sufficient for our well-being and prosperity as a continent. Africa Day, therefore, gives us another opportunity to reflect on our past plan for a more prosperous future for all. As we do so, we honor the fact that the freedom, independence, and democracy we enjoy today in our country and across the African continent is a result of the selfless sacrifices of the gallant sons and daughters of Africa. We pay tribute to living and departed heroes and heroines, some whose remains still lie in shallow graves across the African continent. The contribution of the many revolutionary African icons remains indelible. These include Kwame Nkrumah, Eduardo Mondlane, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Kenneth Kaunda, Seretse Khama, Leopold Senghor, Ben Bella, Abdul Nasser, Patrice Lumumba, Dedan Kimati, Nelson Mandela, Hepeti Tepo, Joshua Nkomo, and Robert Mugabe, among others. Their vision and sacrifice liberated Africa and created a solid ground upon which today we deepen our unity and build, develop, modernize, and industrialize our countries for a higher quality of life for our people. Zimbabwe is forever grateful for the military, financial, and material and humanitarian assistance, as well as the political and diplomatic support that we received from across the continent and beyond. Today, we thus join them in celebrating this sacred day as a united people of a great continent, Africa. Our country is emboldened to continue entrenching our flourishing constitutional democracy. We remain a free and independent people who are masters of our own destiny. Zimbabwe also stands ready to defend the unity, freedom, independence, peace, and the sovereign rights of our country and that of Africa as a whole. Looking into the future, we applaud the adoption of the 2024 African Union theme, and I quote, "Educate an African fit for the 21st century, building resilient education systems for increased access to inclusive, lifelong quality and relevant learning in Africa," end of quote. Education must steer Africa towards the achievement of Agenda 2063. This timely call to action, therefore, presents an opportunity for us, the member states of the African Union, to combine our efforts for the accelerated implementation of the continental education strategy for Africa, as well as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 4. This is more critical as our continent is home to the youngest and the most vibrant population in the world. The youth dividend should be harnessed to realize sustainable development, modernization, and industrialization of the continent. To achieve this, the deliberate deployment of science, technology, and innovation to empower the youth and our communities has become urgent and important. It is in this respect that Zimbabwe, under the Second Republic, has transformed our education system, anchored by the heritage-based education 5.0 philosophy, which is driven by a robust innovation ecosystem. As the African continent and as a nation, we must never apologize for learning new ways and unlearning the old ways of doing things. Our education must be relevant and speak to the needs of our societies and our economies. It is through a science, technology, innovation-based education that will realize our national vision 2030 and the Africa we all want. Gone are the days where we approach the world with begging bowls for aid, with its attendant conditionalities. Africa's collective experience in politics and economic development is testimony that it is none but ourselves who have the burden to move Africa forward. We must innovate and implement solutions that will see us becoming a nation and an African continent able to feed itself. Let us endeavor to produce all the products and the goods we use. Equally, today's contemporary challenges and opportunities must be met with boldness, determination, and the same resolve that saw our forebears victoriously fight for our liberation, our independence, and our freedom. Similarly, the negative impacts and challenges of climate change, energy deficits, and infrastructure gaps should be adequately addressed by ourselves, the people of this great continent. The burden to build our respective countries and the Africa we all want rests solemnly with us. Partners and investors are welcome to assist us, but we must define our course. We must chart our own destiny. Fellow countrymen and women, Africa has come of age, and we celebrate the numerous positive achievements realized to date. The emerging continental and regional architecture under Agenda 2063, such as the Africa Free Trade Area, the Peace and Security Council, together with our African financial institutions and the trade bodies, among many others, are reflective of what can be achieved when we work with unity of purpose. These have also set a solid foundation for a peaceful and a prosperous future. Zimbabwe will continue to support the strengthening of these institutions for greater unity, peace, integration, as well as accelerated modernization, industrialization, and the realization of our full continental potential. As we work steadfastly for the attainment of the continent's developmental goals set in our Agenda 2063, I call upon Africa to be guided by the philosophy that Africa is built, governed, and prayed for by its people. Fellow Zimbabweans, the history of our struggles for independence across Africa needs to be fully recorded and preserved for posterity as a permanent reminder of the difficult journey that we have traveled. In this regard, Zimbabwe is proud to host the Museum of African Liberation, located in Harare. The museum will serve to capture, document, and memorialize the seamlessness of the African struggle for independence. We all have a duty to take ownership of our rich liberation history and the narrative of our past through the correct and Afrocentric lenses. I once again extend an invitation to all African countries and those who assisted in the liberation of Africa to support and participate in this noble project on the Museum of African Liberation. In the spirit of African solidarity and unity, may I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the people of our great continent for standing resolute with Zimbabwe in calling for the complete and unconditional lifting of the illegal, unjustified, and unwarranted sanctions imposed on us by some Western countries. I wish to reiterate that Zimbabwe is a friend to all and an enemy to none, and shall always seek mutual and cordial relations with all countries in the Committee of Nations. We, however, remain aware of the ever-looming threat of neo-colonialist tendencies bent on reversing the socio-economic and political gains made by our country, Zimbabwe, and the continent at large. This year's Africa Day commemoration should see us recommitting to silencing the guns in Africa under our Agenda 2063 flagship initiative and pursuing more concertedly the end of all wars, all conflicts, terrorism, and violent extremism on our motherland, the continent of Africa. In peace, unity, and harmony, Agenda 2063, the Africa we want is achievable. Long live African unity, long live African freedom, and long live independence and solidarity of Africa. God bless Zimbabwe. God bless Africa. I thank you.